will suffer.
Not if you all die.
We need information on what the Empire is up to.
Looks like we're gonna have to do this the hard way. Hang on.
Prepare to engage!
It's about preventing another war.
Good shot, baby.
Impressive.
Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu. Rated PG-13. In theaters and IMAX May 22nd. Get tickets now.
Welcome, Masters and Padawans, to episode 634 of Full of Sith, coming at you, recording on the anniversary of Star Wars. It's me, Bryan Young, the host of the show, and with me, as ever, the redoubtable birthday girl, Holly Frey.
It's true, I'm older.
So Star Wars, and that's what's important.
I know, it's the best.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. It's busy times.
It's really what we're talking about is just Mandalorian and Grogu. And last week, I was able to do a spoiler-free reaction with my 10-year-old, which I heard a lot about. People seemed to like that.
Yeah.
I heard that it was a tonic for some people who were a little bit nervous about some of the oddly negative reviews that were coming out about the film.
Yeah, those are a hoot.
Yeah, which I don't get. Like,
I do. Click, 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 click.
yeah, it is a lot about clicks. There were some people who had said stuff like, it just seemed like a really long episode of the show, and it's like, well, the show is really good, so a really long episode.
Yeah,
That seems good.
That one is a little befuddling to me because what else would it be? Do you know what I mean? Like, it moved over to a big screen event because it is so good and people like it. I don't know why anyone would have anticipated that they were going to pivot the style and make it something different. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But we have it now, and we can talk about it. And if you haven't seen it, I can't imagine that you're listening to a Star Wars podcast and haven't seen the movie yet. But just in case, we are going to get into spoilers here. That's what we held off. We held off to do that. Last week was the spoiler-free show. And I can talk a little bit more about the stuff that hit Kingston hardest, that I thought really hit me pretty hard.
yeah.
But and I wrote an article about that, and the article has been kind of going all over the place. But I really want to hear from you, Holly. Like, we texted a little bit after you saw it. But I'm really just excited to hear what you thought about it, and I just want to nerd out about the movie with you.
That sounds terrific because I think this movie is so much fun.
Yes.
It was like exactly what I needed in my life right now. I don't remember the last time I had that much fun in a theater. You know what I mean? I know, I mean, I am a big proponent of, like, I love dark films. I like, I'm not like a rom-com person. I don't really like a ton of like, sort of light, goofy comedies, but I didn't realize how badly I just needed a fun romp of a movie.
Yeah, like, this was a good time. This was a warm Star Wars hug in the movie theater, and it's comfort food. It's the kind of thing you go in and just go like, I want to watch good guys be good and bad guys be bad, and I want to watch the good guys prevail there, and I want to watch good overcome evil. There's a catharsis there that feels really nice.
Yeah.
Um, where there's definitely some stuff I want to talk about where like um, Grogu encounters people who are nice to him, that help him on his
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
Um, that felt nice. That like we can be nice to strangers, and we can make sure that the authorities that mean ill intent do not catch the strangers who are in danger.
Yeah.
Um, and it had that feel to it that just felt really great. It had that 80s fantasy movie vibe that I really love. And yeah, like I've seen it 3 times now. I'm gonna go see it again tomorrow. I've got tickets to see it a few more times. I don't see myself not continuing to watch it over the next weeks and months as much as I can. Um, yeah, no, it was just it's a roller coaster. I can't imagine myself not getting in line for Space Mountain every time I go to, a Disney park. I can't imagine myself not continuing to get in line for this. And if I'm looking at the theme park ride analogy, this is definitely, a Space Mountain kind of ride.
Yeah. I mean, it's I have seen it thrice now, and the first time we saw it in IMAX, the second time we saw it in a smaller theater that's near us, and then the third time was the time that I had talked about us planning to do where we rented out a theater and just had like a big screening for friends. And that one was actually so joyous because one, it was a mix of people that had seen it and had not seen it. And everybody was really excited to see the people that had not seen it yet, like experience it. But two, it's like when you're in a theater of people that you know, everybody felt very comfortable to react however they wanted. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
when you're in the movie theater experience, I mean, part of it, we have lost that experience as a crowd. That's not the same as it used to be. Like that collective viewing experience has shifted a lot. It is not it's just not the same as it was like pre-pandemic, pre the economic, issues surrounding movie going anymore, pre all of the stuff. So that was really fun because it was great to hear people laugh at stuff that I hadn't even necessarily laughed at before. And there was something so super joyous about everybody just kind of being in it for the silly of it, and like it made me appreciate it on an entirely new level of like just how much fun it can be to go to a movie like that.
Yeah.
um there's so much stuff I love in this movie. Listen, there are a lot of questions it raises for me in a good way. um some of which are a little bit filthy, that so maybe we don't need to go there, but there's been so much discussion because we also had a lot of people like staying at our house. We had people over the last 2 nights for drinks and stuff, and there's so much discussion of like Hutt physiology.
I've been answering those questions for Kingston for the last we um we've been hanging out for the last few hours and waiting to record tonight, and he's just been like, "So who's Stinky's mom?
Right.
So do Hutts produce asexually? Are they like worms? Like what's going?" And he's just been like very on top of what Hutt reproduction is like.
Right,
Um,
right, which there was a version of that in Legends that is not part of the canon.
but there is no real answer in the canon now.
Right. Which like when uh Clone Wars first launched and we got the baby thing, and I remember people being like at the time asking me why it was so important that Jabba had a baby. And I was like, well, in the expanded universe, like there was the whole thing of like Hutts change gender once in their lives or they change sex once in their lives at their own will when they decide it's time to reproduce. And it wasn't ever specifically explained how that all functioned, but like there was a physiological thing of like, I have decided to bear a child now. I will have my child. And it was like their one shot deal. Like they could do it once. And then some would choose to go back to their original sex, but some would stay. I mean, it almost feels weird to call it male and female in terms of Hutts because it's a Hutt. It's a different physiology. But anyway, and so that was like the explainer then. And now we
Gender's
don't
all a
know.
social construct anyway.
Right, like now we don't know what any of that is, right?
Yeah.
And how Stinky became part of it. For all we know, they cut the end of Jabba's tail off and it regrows in a new way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm making that up. I'm not. But it is. I mean, we also had like there is Hutt sexuality. We all lost our innocence a little bit in regards to that this week. And there were a lot of discussions around that going on at my house. Like, I don't know, is there a cloaca somewhere? If so, what does that mean for like Rada fighting? Because he doesn't have any pants on. What's going on? Listen, it was a very adult discussion going on at my house, at our lunches, at our dinners, but it was very fun, and it was all in joyous jest. So I'm way more obsessed with Hutts than I've ever been in my life, though.
It's interesting that Guillermo del Toro got the shout out in the credits and had been developing, sort of that Jabba the Hutt movie. I really wish we'd have gotten it.
Me too.
Um, but I really, really, really hope that maybe we do someday, especially knowing he still hangs out with those guys apparently.
Right.
Um, no, I think my thing with this movie, more than anything, as I continue chewing on it, from the last week, is just how deceptively simple but elegant it is.
Yeah.
That there's this simplicity to it, but it has much more going on beneath the surface than I think people realize. And I think there's a lot of critics, there's a lot of folks who are going to watch it once and go, "Oh, that was fun but disposable." But there's so much more going on under the hood.
Yeah,
And
I concur.
I think that's what I love about Star Wars in general, and that's what I love about this movie is that there's so much working for it. And one of those things that it is one of those things that like Kingston kind of pointed out to me um, that I didn't realize on first blush, and that it really does work for different ages of audiences. Like someone had um kind of approached me and said like, this is just a kids movie, like you're telling me that, but it doesn't grow with you. It's not going to do that. It's just going to be, a crappy kids movie and it's going to stay that way. And it's like, no, it it does have more of that depth, especially for people who are more involved in the canon. But the thing that Kingston really turned me on to is trying to imagine watching this as a kid who
Right.
has better parents than I had, right? And the stress, like one of the big, like George Lucas always said that like Star Wars is for preteens, right? As they're asking those big questions of themselves, trying to make sense of the world and helping them come up with answers for it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that kids at that age fear is like, what happens if I lose my parents?
Yeah.
And Kingston was telling me this as we were coming home. Like like this is what we were talking about, and I was like, we can't talk about this when we're recording because that's the big spoiler, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Which was really hard for him. Um, but he was like, that's what I was scared of, is like that was what he was most invested in the movie, was Grogu almost losing Mando,
Yeah.
and watching Grogu take up arms and assembling the Anzellans and terrassing across the galaxy like Luke Skywalker, right? Like in this sort of like mirror universe version of Luke's journey and Anakin's journey, to go across the galaxy to go save Din, um, and have to watch over him and protect him and heal him. And he started thinking about, like almost in tears, like what he would do if I were in trouble like that and how he would protect me.
Right.
And that's such an important and amazing like lens to look at the movie through. Like you're 10 and you're scared of losing your parents, and this movie is like putting that up in front of you and making you consider it and think about it and like be brave about that. That's really huge. But also like he was telling me about Rada, like how just how excited he was that those two got to be friends, because he had a million
That was
questions.
the
Oh, go
most
ahead.
charming thing of all time.
Oh my God, those two playing in the surf.
Obsessed.
Um, the two, I could just watch the two, because for one, it was like it was almost just like two animals playing, like two like dogs playing in the surf or
Yeah.
something. Like like it looked like my cats playing with each other almost.
Right.
Um, but like he pointed out that like they're just like he was trying to figure out their timelines and how they like developed to the point where he's like, so they're both kind of just kids, right? Like
Right.
he had all of these questions about how old they were and how long they lived, because he was trying to figure out if he was right in thinking that they were both just kids and that's why they were such like good friends immediately,
Yeah.
because that's how he makes friends.
Right.
And so like I don't know, like watching it with him just like really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff immediately, but then like digging in, like as a Star Wars fan, as a dad, as a writer, like there's just so many interesting levels that it has to it that like it's giving so much after three viewings. I hope that it has just as much to offer after, 30.
Yeah, I think probably it will. What's interesting to me is that it was not until the third viewing that I got really emotional about the part you're talking about Grogu trying to take care of his father and trying to, you know, navigate being on a foreign planet in a swamp, finding food, finding water for the two of them, building a shelter. Like it was not until the third viewing that that hit me really hard emotionally and I started crying. And I don't know why. Um, but it really was very impactful. I just the whole Grogu's entire like sort of arc of how far he's come when we see him in this film compared to where we have left off felt very poignantly obvious in that moment, right? You see that like he is capable of doing things like using the force on large objects to, interact with animals, etc., in ways that like we've seen him do before, but it always depleted him, and that's not the case anymore. He doesn't need to have a lie down after he does something. Um, but like that whole segment is like he's so kind of emotionally strong, but also there's that beautiful element to it where that strength isn't something that's just kind of like inherent for him all the time. Like it's such a throwaway moment, but I really love it when he and the Anzellans arrive in their little Altoid tin of a ship, and it just cuts to them kind of walking through the swampy foresty area, and the one Anzellan being like, don't be scared, don't be scared, we're going to find him, just keep walking. Like, the idea that he is still, finding, and it also is reflected in his relationship with Rada, that like he is finding and open to kind of the support and give and take of a friendship where people take care of one another and boost each other up and bolster each other. He's getting strength not just from being Din Djarin's child and learning the things that he needs to survive from him, but also the community around him that he kind of seems to gather to him just instinctively without, much effort. Also is part of his ongoing emotional support system. And I was like, this is the most psychologically healthy Star Wars we've probably ever
Yeah.
had.
Which is an interesting reversal or an interesting arc for the Anzellans too, which they start out with like their
Bad
first
baby.
words is a horrible baby.
Yeah.
Um, no, I really liked that so much. And there's so many echoes of all of the important themes in that section of the movie that's sort of Grogu's journey. Where it has those echoes of Han saving Luke on Hoth. And it has those echoes of Luke saving Han in Return of the Jedi. And it has those echoes of um, Anakin trying to save his mother and that familial connection where there are interesting places that can go, right? Where a Mandalorian is going to do those things. They're going to go after those people and they're going to rescue them. And he suits up and grabs bombs, and that's what he's going to do. There's no question in his mind. But a Jedi needs to think twice about those things, right? And the ramifications those have in the Force. And it's interesting where that can lead, right?
Oh yeah.
But also there's this idea, especially the scenes with Gatori, the
Yeah.
sort of the swamp crocodile creature, um, which are amazing. I love those scenes
I do
so
too.
much. But it's this really interesting, I realized sort of I sort of understood it, but didn't really have vocabulary to understand what was going on to communicate it. But if you remember that moment in from Star Wars to Jedi, when George Lucas is explaining to Richard Marquand and Mark Hamill, like, in all these fairy tales, you're always, it's the little bunny you see on the side of the road that you help, that gives you the magic beans that will help you defeat the evil and everything. And we're always seeing it from the hero's point of view, where they're helping the magic bunny and the magic bunny gives them the magic. But Grogu's sort of the magic bunny in this situation. And Gatori is the one who's helping the magic bunny without any thought of reward here.
Yeah.
And we've never really seen it from that reversed angle where he's the magic bunny with no language who someone has to intuit that he needs help,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting storytelling choice that I really admired so much, that there's so much visual storytelling through such a huge portion of this movie that like people who didn't latch onto that or didn't care for that. I mean, a lot of people are like, yeah, well, that was the only part of the movie that was worth anything. It was just a bunch of episodes scotch taped together. It's like, well, the movie doesn't work without all of the build up to get to that. Like if the
Right.
movie was just all that, everybody would say like, well, why did we watch a silent movie? Like there's no character growth, right?
Right.
They're already saying there's no character arcs, which is absurd anyway. But because I mean, Grogu certainly goes on a character arc, and so does Din. I mean, Din starts the movie telling him not to touch buttons and ends teaching him how to fly the ship, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I I think for some people they were expecting or hoping for the character arc aspect of it to be a little grander, in terms of like, I don't know, more concrete events leading to obvious growth in a different way. I feel like the character arc work in this movie is a lot more subtle.
Yeah.
It's not, it's kind of interesting because Mandalorian in general is not a show that I would accuse of being like, really soft touch in terms of emotional language and um kind of nuanced internal emotive stuff. But this one really is like, there's only the faintest, quickest drive-by of, the Hutt say to Din Djarin, like, hey, you're gonna suffer, be shamed, and die, and when you're dead, we're coming for your kid. And like, we don't get like a big long camera moment that lingers on him digesting that information and shifting. But we do know that that is part of what leads to that moment at the end where you're like, he goes on this journey, and by the end he's like, let's teach you what these buttons do. Let's actually, have this. I mean, to me that's plenty of character arc, but I know for some people they wanted more, and I get it. I'm not trying to say that like their taste is wrong, but like, to me that's almost more meaningful because it is those subtle moments that are kind of the most impactful in real life. So
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
There's that there's that significant shift in him where he realizes what Grogu's capable of, where he didn't understand what Grogu was capable of. Through the entire first, you know, half of the movie, he is keeping Grogu out of harm's way. He is keeping Grogu with him, but really as a parrot, right?
Yeah.
Like a shoulder parrot.
Yeah.
Um, he left him on the ship and didn't really trust him to teach him the buttons, right? Like the abduction of Lord Janu would have gone a lot easier if he would have trusted Grogu to be part of the team, right? And he's here abducted. He doesn't expect Grogu to show up, right? Like he assumes he's going to die on this planet alone. And Grogu shows up and like he expects Grogu to escape, right? He doesn't expect
Yeah.
anything more of this kid and passes out, and he doesn't know. Like thinking about this from Din's perspective, and this is one of those things that the narrative doesn't tell you. It doesn't hang a sign on it. But like from Din Djarin's perspective, he says goodbye to the kid
Thinking
and,
it is goodbye forever.
and falls unconscious.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he has his son in his arms and is
And has black slime all over his face.
has black slime all over his face and um a shelter over him,
Yeah.
right? So he has undergone this transformational change and understanding of who his kid is. And his kid doesn't speak, right? So it's not like he can ask him or interrogate him about what he's thinking or what's going on with him or how he's feeling about things, right? Grogu can only show him what he's capable of by showing him. And so Grogu showing up with the Anzellans, I mean, like, there's probably that moment where he's like, oh, you've got a ship, and he shows up and brings him in the throes of dying to the poison to the Anzellan ship, where it's just like, oh, the kid doesn't get it, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, no, he did get it, and he stayed, and he saved my life. That's where he has that change, where you have that three-way battle at the end, where he trusts him. Like that's a huge character shift, where he puts him down, where you have the twins, you have all the droids, you have Embo, you have everyone in that situation, and he gives Grogu the responsibility, you go save Rada.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge character growth moment. And when people are like, "Oh, he didn't change, there's no character arc." It's like you're just not paying attention.
Right. Yeah, yeah, oh, I really love this movie. I think it's the most fun. I just think it's the most fun. There are so many Amanamans.
Yeah. Well, no, there's only one Amana Man, and they're a
I know,
bounty
but it's
hunter.
funnier to say Amanamans than it is to say Amani.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing. Here's the thing I wanted to ask you to shift gears off of the emotive aspect of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought about you from the first screening. I was like, I want to talk to Bryan about this.
Okay.
There are so many film history references in this movie.
Yes, there are.
It is like a buffet of delight if you love film.
Yes.
I mean, there's like a very subtle Dracula reference in the Nalhutta Palace. You know, there's that famous moment in Dracula where like it is revealed passing through the count's castle, like, you know, there is the opening of a door in search of someone, and you find kind of a wild sexual image going on. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh look, here are three Hutts having a lovely time together. There is a great, very subtle, I don't think it's accidental, if it is, it's wild, Creature from the Black Lagoon reference in it with one of the Amani, like when he's in the
Oh,
water
yeah.
battling them. And there's one moment in particular where I think he stabs that one to subdue it, and it kind of falls backwards into the water to the right of frame. And the profile is exactly the Creature from the Black Lagoon's profile.
Yeah.
Um, there's like Scarface references in Janu's house. There's like it's it is chock full of we love movie history
And
moments.
Johnny's House has got Godfather in it too.
Oh yeah.
Um, it Martin Scorsese himself, like
Mhm.
just his cameo, the name of his character, the look of
Yeah.
his shop is packed with film reference cameos. Like his character's name is Hugo Durant,
Yeah.
right? And so Martin Scorsese playing a character named Hugo Durant, who's an Ardenian, is hilarious because this is the second film director who has cameoed as an Ardenian after Jon Favreau. The
Yeah.
last time we've seen an Ardenian, which was Rio Durant in Solo.
Yeah.
Um, and so making those two maybe related. Martin Scorsese obviously directed a film called Hugo, which is Martin Scorsese's homage to Georges Méliès.
Yeah.
And the framing, when you first see Hugo Durant, matches really that um, shot of that he did that matches all of the famous photographs of Georges Méliès
Yeah.
in his retirement when he was working just as a toy shop, like in a toy shop, as a penniless toy salesman in Gare Montparnasse. Um, but it also harkens back to Jon Favreau's time in Chef, like when he
Yeah.
worked on that. Um, and then the music, Hugo Durant's Snack Shack, um, has that old-timey, very like classic French film kind of folksy score that does
Oh
the
yeah.
Mando music. I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that. I love that track on the soundtrack.
Hugo may be my favorite part of this movie.
Oh, it's terrific.
I like
Scorsese's so good.
I say that in all earnestness because one, just from a technical standpoint, that character is incredible. Like for not a second do you go, that's computer generated.
No,
He feels so completely real. His expressions are incredibly easy to connect to and interpret.
it,
His eyes are beautiful. His vocal performance is beautiful.
it feels like a Scorsese cameo.
It really does. And he makes absolutely gorgeous sandwiches. So, Somebody asked me on Blue Sky if I were gonna get a tattoo of anything from this movie, what would it be? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Hugo. Um, I love him. I love him. I love everything about it. He's the one I'm quoting constantly, you know. I just love him.
Um, so like just Scorsese being there is a package of film reference right there, right?
Yeah,
But you've also got I love how I mean like any like this movie like The Mandalorian in general references Yojimbo like
yeah,
on the surface, but if folks go back and remember Yojimbo or even any of the movies that were sort of remade out of Yojimbo, or even if you want to go back to Dashiell Hammett's Red Harvest, which Yojimbo was loosely based on, um, there's the section of the movie where Toshiro Mifune's character gets wounded horribly, and someone needs to take care of him and nurse him back to health so that he can come back and play all the rest of the factions against each other.
right.
And that's very much what happens in a way that we haven't seen Din have to endure this brutally. There's moments, there's hints of it on the show, whether that's like IG-11 having to like take his helmet off and you know
Right.
do the medical stuff, but like at this prolonged level of healing out in the woods and in the wilderness, um, not at that level, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so you've got that Yojimbo aspect to it. There's a ton of mash here too. Um, I mean, not just the obvious stuff, right? Like Trapper Wolf, but like if you notice the opening credits, like we talked about this, like a Delphi base and the opening credits with the music, with Mandalorian, but it gets like it feels more apparent with the bar as you go forward through the movie. And all of the cameos there with like, oh, it's that guy and that guy. Like we know these people. Like it does feel more MASH, but as much the TV show as the Altman film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and there's so much of that kind of stuff in there. It's just packed to the gills with that sort of thing.
Oh, it's so
And
good.
Phil Tippett's stop motion work is so good. Like that's just a reference to everything.
Right. And so scary. Um, there's so much good scary. Speaking of Phil Tippett, going back to early. First of all, this film, I know people have said that it feels like a number of episodes strung together. And there is definitely like an element of sectionality to it, which in a way is so wonderful. And there is so much going on that it's easy to forget parts of it. You know what I mean? Like, we were sitting around my living room this morning talking about it, and it's like it's so easy to forget that whole first like ice planet segment because there's so much in the rest of the movie, and it's a long movie. I mean, it's what, 212.
Yeah.
um but like there are just so many incredible things that it's easy to like you get so caught up in the next part of it all. But we haven't talked at all about the Dejarik fight.
That was really good.
It was really good, and here is what I super love about it. That there isn't the denouement of it is to me very pleasing because I like that like no one emerges the victor, this weird situation happens and they don't continue to all fight among themselves. They all try to escape too. Like when you notice those creatures coming up through the stands, they're not just attacking people, they're throwing the people out of the way so they can get out of the auditorium.
Yeah, none of them want to be there.
And it's just like, oh, this is so good.
So here's my starting with the Dejarik match, really like here's my argument about why this is not just 3 episodes scotch taped together.
Yeah.
There's a very specific cause and effect
Yeah.
that leads every one of these adventures from one point to another. And it, I mean, if you want to just say changing environments means that it's an episode change, people are saying that because they're used to seeing the Mandalorian change environments and it means a different episode,
Right.
not because the story is actually taking those different movements, right?
Yeah.
The intent of the story, it starts with the James Bond Indiana Jones cold open, right? He delivers the news that he's failed to kill that, or he's failed to capture that Imperial, but he's dead, and that's what matters. And Colonel Ward says, "We need you to get Commander Coin, and we need to get him because we need information about what's going to happen next." And that is your mission. And the only way to do that is because of the twins in this convoluted story that they've got about how they're going to give you the information. And everything is a twist or turn predicated on that one mission. And it moves through all of that to the point where, like, yes, it feels like there's a break, but he's resolving or feels like he's resolving everything with Rada on Navarro, but all those chickens are coming home to roost,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I've gotten rid of Rada and I've dealt with the twins. Nope, the twins have come back and they've taken Rada. It's like the mid-act commercial break in a Columbo episode where it's like, oh, wait a second, I thought I solved this case, but no, I really didn't, and the real
It's more
murderer is still out
complex.
there.
Yeah.
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 And it comes down to the reason the rebellion, or not the rebellion, the New Republic comes to help at the end is because of the actions Mando took at the beginning to actually capture coin, because he gives them the information. And it turns out he was right, that the Hutts were selling that information to the Imperials and working for them and playing the New Republic. And that's why they bail him out at the end. So it's all like wrapped up in this bow where you have this closed loop of narrative from the moment he sits down with Ward to the moment they say goodbye on a Delphi base at the end, that is one complete package of story that makes sense. Yes, it takes him to all kinds of really weird and interesting places, and it does it really quickly and efficiently, but that doesn't mean it's just a bunch of episodes scotch taped together.
Right.
There's a very clear pathway to all of that, and it all folds in on itself in neat and logical ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Listen, there are so many fun little things in this too that like, and questions that I have about it in the best way. Like, not questions like I am not in any way doing the like very
I've only
worn
got
out plot hole claim.
I've only got one question like that.
What is it?
Why is the Razor Crest on a Delphi base at the end of the movie? Because
Oh
they
yeah.
clearly left it
Oh, I have a theory. It's not a real theory, but it's my
like
comedy
Zeb just
explainer.
got it for him.
No, I mean, listen, the New Republic got it for him. They have an extra fob because they don't fully trust it. Like, so they literally were just like, "Oh, let's just go." The second the Anzellans are like, "He needs help," they're like, "Somebody go get his damn ship off Navarro."
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's as easy as that explanation needs to be.
yeah, I mean, I have a few. One, the deck of cards fascinates me. I'm like, who made this deck of cards? Is this something the New Republic made? Is this something that like the Underworld made as their own personal like souvenir merch? How does that happen? Anyway, not important, just a
My
thing.
guess is Colonel Ward just did it in her spare time.
But like, did she hire a graphic artist? Who's cutting those cards? Like, I
Trapper Wolf.
literally,
Trapper Wolf did it.
I literally have so many questions
She's got
about it.
Trapper Wolf and Lieutenant Blick, two of the best artists in the galaxy, just sitting there on her squadron. They did
Just
it.
sketching.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that I really came away my first question when I walked out of the theater the first time I saw it was now Hutta is trashed at this point.
Uh,
A
Now,
lot of
Hutt
it.
is not necessarily trashed. The twins' palace is.
Right. You almost are helping make my point even more so. We know like not all of the Hutts are gone. What is the power vacuum aftermath of this?
So
How does that impact Boba Fett?
this is a huge question. I actually just pitched a piece to slash film about this because I'm like, not only do I think this is a huge power vacuum that's going to cause trouble for the Hutts, I actually think this is going to get Colonel Ward into a huge amount of trouble.
Yes, she just carpet bombed a planet.
So the Hutts are not like small players,
Yeah.
right?
And
Like
the
it,
droid Gotra is involved.
yeah, I mean, it's not like it's the whole droid Gotra either. Like, it's just the contingent of the droid Gotra that got hired to run security for the Hutts.
Uh-huh.
Um, the idea that, I mean, the Hutts were so important that the Republic and the Separatists were pleading with them to open their hyperspace routes during the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
which were 40 years ago or less, right? And Darth Maul did not diminish their power so greatly by their inclusion in the Shadow Collective, nor did Luke diminish their power so greatly with the struggle that ensued by killing Jabba, that they don't have cards to play by Colonel Ward carpet bombing the twins' uh, palace.
Yeah.
Um, this is going to cause an incident.
Yeah.
There's ramifications there. And now Hutt is a planet, right? And there's nothing to say Mama's not still alive.
We hope. Fingers and toes crossed for that
Um,
one.
like we know she's around. We know that there's other Hutts around. We know that Rada's still alive, right? Which makes him still heir.
Yeah.
And we know that the twins were only Jabba's cousins, so we know that there's potentially more cousins.
The
Like,
cousin thing is a question mark for me.
so it said in Book of Boba Fett they were referred to as his cousins.
Right. I mean it's a question mark because it goes back to what we talked about at the top of the show about
Like,
how
how do they
Hutts
procreate?
reproduce. Like how if it doesn't seem like there are a lot of brothers and sisters, like the twins seem like unique outliers. So I'm like, then how do cousins work? Like I just don't I need a family tree.
I mean, like, my guess would be cousins would be if Mama had, like, Zero's his uncle, right? Because he refers to Jabba repeatedly as his nephew. So either they're Zero's kids or they're a sibling of Zero's kids,
Yeah, I
right?
don't know. I don't know.
Um, and then something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who
It's a
knows?
mystery. It's a mystery.
But there are more Hutts around,
Yeah.
and
And
they're
they're not
going to
going to
be
be
pissed.
happy. Yeah. I wonder, right? Like, is Ward going to get thrown under the bus by the New Republic?
Oh, I think she'd have to. I mean, can you imagine how pissed off Mon Mothma is going to be about this? Mon Mothma, like, pacifist chancellor.
Yeah,
Like, we
you
need to
did
lay
what?
down our arms and we can't just carpet bomb things, right? Like, remember how pissed off everybody was at Draven for attacking Edu?
Yeah.
And that was an Imperial facility.
Yeah.
And this is outside their jurisdiction, which I think was interesting. They made a point of Zeb going like, "Hey, this is outside our jurisdiction. I can't just call in a."
We can't do this. Oh, we did
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and Favreau's been on the record as saying like, "We're aware of all how this all fits with everything.
Yeah.
It's not an accident, unless this
Yeah.
is the next like, where are the Naberries?" And we're gonna be somewhere, and Leland Cheese gonna be like, "No one cares about the Hutts," and that's how it's gonna be. Who
I
knows?
I do like the idea of Ward actually being kind of the same problematic personality as Poe Dameron in terms of like I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm just going. I'm doing it. Let's go. I kind of love that. I I also, listen, who knew that apparently Droideka are inspired in their design by Amani? That tuck and roll move is spectacular.
They did that in the Crystal Crisis too.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while. That was something that they has been part of their species for as long as they've been uh, on screen in the modern era.
Marvelously, marvelously
Yeah.
weird. They're like the scariest thing in this movie to me.
Yeah, no, that was if anything earned this movie a PG-13, it was them.
Whew, they're frightening. They're
Yeah.
legitimately frightening.
Um,
Um,
oh, that dragon snake was gorgeous too, though.
oh, so good. I also love that Lady Twin pushes her brother in front of her when they're dealing with all that.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
see how this is. I see how this weird, slimy.
And it doesn't save her.
Not even a little. Not even a little. Um,
I loved that moment. I don't know. I loved all the puppetry work. The puppeteers and the effects artists and stuff really talked about how that section of the movie felt like getting to do a Henson movie like Dark Crystal or a Muppet movie or something, and that
yeah,
just delights me. And so many of the shots felt like it, like that shot where they kind of right after they get off the ship, after they have their reunion, and they just kind of pop up from behind that log
yeah,
is so perfect, and it's so Muppets in the best way.
yeah.
And like, did you get the feeling? And this is the thought I had in the best way as a compliment, because I know some people would hear this and go, "Ooh, gross." Um, that it had DNA of like the best vibe of the Ewok adventures.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
and I loved that about it.
Same. I mean, we also haven't talked about, the one of the many questions swirling amongst our herd has been like the mud hut of it all. Like, is this an instinctual behavior? Did Grogu learn that at the Jedi Temple? If so, he didn't learn measurement. Um, there also, there's that great sort of shot of him from behind that is very much a callback to some of the McQuarrie concept art of Yoda. There's so much like rich history. I want to say historical imagery, which sounds maybe silly to people, but there is. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, no, there really is. And what better building materials is Grogu going to be able to construct, right? It's like, did Han learn how to build these ice huts? Like, did Han learn how to build this shelter from, you know, on Tatooine, like from someone else? Like,
Yeah, I
no,
mean,
that's
I
just
think the
what he
point
had
is that it's a
available.
lot like Yoda's hut, and so people are like, did
Is that,
did they just instinctively know how to do that? Like that species, is that one of their instinctual knowledges?
I mean, it seems like that's the implication because the shape and the look and the vibe and the swamp
Or
is
did they
so
both learn it at the Jedi Temple?
I
We don't know.
who knows?
Is there a Jedi course on mud hut building?
I
It's like the
loved
basket weaving that people take to coast in college.
I loved so much the this is another one of those like really subtle, brilliant moves of storytelling is like it feels like they picked Embo for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like they just picked Embo like it wasn't like they just picked his name out of a hat, right? And they could have made a new bounty hunter with a dog or an
Yeah,
Anuba, but they used one that had some narrative weight behind him, right?
yeah,
But they did it with purpose and intention because they needed a bounty hunter that could have a companion that had an enemy with the scale that could compete with Grogu and the Anzellans,
Yeah.
right? Like you've got Embo fighting Mando, and that's rad, and that is everything they're doing. You've got Grogu and the Anzellans running through their trench, and you've got the one Anzellan turning around and looking around horrified, and then looking up from their point of view at Merrick. And Merrick is huge and terrifying from their point of view. And another bounty hunter without a an animal like that, like it wouldn't have that weight,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have that sense of scale. And then being able to create the conflict among all of the different parties at the end, where you have um, the twins fighting Rada,
Yeah.
Mando fighting Embo, Grogu dealing with Merrick. At the end, it's a really elegant face off. Like that doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
Like it's just really elegant storytelling. And when people are like, it wasn't good, the writing was bad. And it's like, I don't know what movie you're watching. If you think the writing is bad, like you try it. Like it's really
I
sharp, deliberate writing.
yeah, it's not sloppy in the least. I don't know. Listen, people are welcome to not like it. That's fine. I don't
I'm
think it is. I don't think it is
I'm
problematic.
fine. I'm fine with people not liking it. You can not like it, it's not to your taste. But to say there's no character arcs, patently untrue. To say that the writing is bad, patently untrue. You can be bored by it. It's not your cup of tea. That's fine. That's a subjective thing. But like, I can point to all the writing and be like, wow, that was really good. Like little things like how subtle like the chain of title on the snacks were, right?
Yeah.
Like you almost don't notice how elegant that bit of writing is, where it's like Rada going like, oh, I found these in your kitchen. Sorry about that. And it's like, oh, that's a funny moment. This is a callback to, you know, Grogu's snacks. And then he hands them to Grogu and they have this tender moment and they say goodbye.
Well,
And
especially when he's like popping them like a Mentos.
yeah. And then Grogu goes to eat them and you get a sense of the scale because it makes Rada feel grounded in the universe more when you see the difference in size between the two of them.
Yeah.
And Grogu's eating it, and then it's a really human, relatable moment when Mando takes him away and says, like, oh, you can have these after dinner. And he
Which
puts
is
them in his pouch,
the most dad move of all time, right?
especially the part where he doesn't give them to him after dinner
Right.
because he still has them in his pouch. Right? But then when he needs to distract Merrick to be able to get the Anzellan away from him because he's just gnawing on him, it doesn't feel like a contrivance when he has those to distract the Anuba.
Right.
And then that helps everything. Like it was really elegant when there's a reason Embo stops there at that moment and takes the hollow from the twins when they say, you've got him, great, bring him to Nal Hutta now, so that the Incellans and Grogu can go, oh, they're going to Nal Hutta. Otherwise, like, how would they have known to go to Nal Hutta? Um, or when they arrive on Nal Hutta and then they get the other Anzellan to come out and say, he's in the palace. That's where they took him,
Uh-huh.
right? Like all of that stuff works because Rada got into the kitchen to steal the snacks, right? And none of that feels out of place because they placed all of that appropriately and created business for it all to like all of those dominoes to fall. That's really elegant writing that doesn't feel convenient because they make excellent moments out of all of it that feel like they stand on their own, not like they're propping up everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I also just love that Rada pops them like Mentos. It also like it's a really nice moment where they're very subtly communicating scale.
Yeah.
Because he's just flipping them in his mouth like a Mentos, and then you just see it pass from, into Grogu's hand and they look enormous. And then
Yeah.
Din takes it and it's like, oh, it just gives you like a very subtle visual reminder of like the vast differences in all of them that I just loved. I thought it was really
And
cute.
like, yeah, I mean, Rada's dialogue, some of it was like a little on the nose, but there's this philosophy. Um, Robert McKee talked a lot about this, about how like the more symbolic a character, the less subtext their dialogue is really capable of,
Right.
right? Like the more a symbol they are, the more on the nose they're going to sort of have to be. And Rada's very much a symbol of what um that inherent evil is, and what a how someone can resist the nurturing of their environment in evil situations can be.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same reason why, like, the closer to realism a character is, the more natural and subtextual their dialogue is, and the closer they are to a symbol or to mythology, the further away from that they are, which is why
Right.
Luke is a myth and a symbol, and Cassian Andor is not. He's realism, and that's why his dialogue gets to all be subtextual and real, and Luke is King Arthur and Christ and those figures, right?
Yeah.
Um, and Rada's in that middle ground where he is this symbol. He is representative of things in the story, and he's representative of things to Grogu, and he's representative of um, really what Grogu could have been, or what he looks up to. And I don't know, I love the relationship between the two of them, because I could very easily see they hit on it a lot. The idea that those two could be there for each other 100, 200, 500,
Yeah.
600 years from now,
Yeah. Yeah. Obsessed.
which is exciting.
It is. I mean, I think it's kind of like a fascinating bit of good luck that both of those characters are still in their youth. You know, Rada, as you said, there's been a lot of discussion of like how old exactly is Rada, and it doesn't even
He's younger than
entirely.
Grogu.
Yeah, no, isn't he like 50 in Clone Wars when
Rada?
we see him as a baby?
I don't think so.
I think he's a little bit older than Grogu. I
I
think
don't
he
think so.
is. All right, we may disagree on this one. Because isn't it mentioned that similar like that Hutt's age more slowly? Anyway,
Um,
we'll get to the bottom of this one. But like they're both still, my point being that they are both still very young and have a lot of growing to do. Um and so there's like a really beautiful thing. Like it harkens back to you talking about them being in the surf and playing. Like you realize that Rada has grown up, both of them have been in scenarios where they have been on their own, but Rada's result was that he had to grow up very quickly and probably be in some really terrible situations. And he got a little, hardened in some ways, but also he retained his, for lack of a better word, humanity. And he, is not, he rejected that sort of darker criminal aspect of his family lineage. And Grogu similarly has been through a lot, but he stays very he still has a naivete that Rada doesn't have as much. And so there's a really cool thing about the potential for them interacting as they grow older that I think is kind of beautiful. Like we have similar formative years experiences, but our resulting behavior is very different. And I just think that's an exciting potential plot area to mine.
yeah. No, it is. I mean, it offers it offers far more. This movie offers far more possibilities for the future of Mandalorian, for the future of Grogu, for the future of Rada. for the future of the New Republic, and everything bridging this to the sequel trilogy, then I think people give it not even just the sequel trilogy, but beyond, because I don't think it touches much. Actually, it kind of does when you think about Gideon's Shadow Council. Um, this is the third member of the Shadow Council he's taken off the map.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of means when you think about it, the Mandalorian is sort of responsible for tipping things in the favor of Hux and the First Order. Um, if Ahsoka and them are responsible for taking Pelion and Thrawn out of it, like they pretty much wipe out everybody but the First Order, and it's probably they spend those years looking for who's left, and that's why everybody's like, nah, nobody's left, nobody's there. Leia, why are you so paranoid?
Yeah. Oh, here it is. There is some continuity weirdness.
Yeah, there was a
So,
random blog post.
yeah, that put him at 55 during Clone Wars. But then more of the standard stuff is that he was born 22 BBY, which would put him more in his 30s when we see him here.
Yeah, I think everything else I've seen that I've had to go on is that he was born shortly before the movie.
There you go.
So I think he is younger than Grogu,
Yeah.
which can always change. Like there's nothing that says in the canon like
What
and the
his age
canon,
is. Yeah.
yeah, there's the canon is what we see on screen or in a story. And there's nothing that says definitively other than Ahsoka in the movie saying, "Oh, he's just a baby."
Right.
Um,
What does that mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so there's no definitive age the way we had with Grogu.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the thinking is that he's younger than Grogu.
Just babies. Just babies.
Yeah.
Just little bitty babies.
Yeah. No, I'd love to see more with the two of them.
So sweet. So sweet. So
I'd love to see,
sweet.
I don't know. I just want to see more in this. I would love to see more. I'd love to see another season of Mando. I'd love to see another movie. I'd love to see Stinky and Ahsoka meet
Reunite.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's silly. Maybe I'm the only one, but like, I just think that would be fun.
No, that came up in discussions I was having with people too. Like, does this open the door for that? Would that be interesting? So I don't think you're the only one. I think a lot of people would be very curious about that.
Especially if he's working with the New Republic. I mean, if he's working with the New Republic and Ahsoka manages to get back from Paradia, um, and they're all going to be, it's going to be all hands on deck to deal with Thrawn
Yeah.
and the Night Sisters.
Oh, Night Sisters, we love you so.
Yeah.
Love you. We love you.
I thought it was
Yeah.
funny that the last time we recorded an episode, we did all that news, and literally like an hour before I posted the episode, they announced that we were pretty like, oh no, I think Ahsoka still like 2026. They haven't said anything otherwise yet.
Well,
Like,
I wasn't sure. You were the one that was all, no, it's this year.
well, no, like it was they haven't said otherwise. They said it was this year, and they haven't said otherwise yet. And then literally an hour before the episode, before I had to post the episode,
Yeah.
it was like, we've delayed it till early next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's going to give us more clues as to what from this um affects that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, the opening was so funny where it's just like, I'm upping your tribute. And when he starts handing blasters to them, it's so like, lay down covering fire, long live the Empire. And the one woman who didn't ever pick up the blasters, the one who points where he went,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's so funny. I really, really love that opener. I feel like as a cold open, that is so strong. Um, we get to see AT-ATs doing crazy stuff. There's some amazing sound design. We haven't talked about the score at all, which is spectacular.
We did a little
Um,
bit with Hugo Durant's Snack Shack.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just the whole score is really good. Um, I like this movie heaps. Heaps.
Yeah, I hope I get the score. I hope the score comes out on vinyl. I just had to import the vinyl from season 3 from Japan because it's not out here. Why? No
Okay.
idea.
I don't know. I'm not a vinyl baby. I mean, I'm not against it. I just like that's more stuff I don't need.
I just my record player's next to my writing workstation, and it helps me um, set goals with writing. Like I'm gonna get as much done as I can before I have to turn the record over. Otherwise, I just like if I press play on a playlist and it goes forever, I'll let my mind wander. But if I'm beating the record flip,
Yeah.
it's weird. I don't know. I've
No,
got
I do
brain
the same
issues.
thing, but I do it with different measurements of time. Like I'll put on Andor in the background with the sound off or the sound very low, and then I'll be like, okay, when this episode is over, I have to see what my word count is and where I'm at, and then I could do this and run and do something else, take a break for 20 minutes, Same thing. Different modes of what the measuring stick is, but I don't think that's an unusual way to do things.
Yeah. But I hope the soundtrack for this comes out, if nothing else, for Hugo Durant's Snack Shack, because it is a thing
Yeah.
of beauty. No, I've listened to that track a lot. I've listened to a lot of them, a lot, but that one in particular. Um, and the opening credits theme, like just that those notes of the the Suicide is Painless style guitar
Yeah.
with it really really sells it. I mean, it is a very different style of Star Wars soundtrack, but do we know who's scoring Starfighters?
I don't know.
Hmm, that'll be interesting. I'm excited for Star. I mean, like, it's weird. We're a year away from another Star Wars movie, and that is um exciting as hell.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited. I I definitely I know I mentioned it before, but I had not done it yet. That, renting out a whole theater is a might be a fun way to do it. Let me tell you, if you pool money with your friends and you can do it, highly recommend. That was one of the best theater experiences I've had in a really long time.
Yeah.
Because it was just, joy and love and people who actually, the people that are there want to be there. And that Thomas Newman is the composer on Starfighter. Um, and it was absolutely worth it. So much fun. I'm 100% doing it next year as well. Um, I love. Yeah, he did. I'm looking up his stuff. Thomas Newman did the score for Skyfall.
Oh,
Or he
Skyfall
worked in
was
the music
amazing.
department. I don't think he was the composer. Hold on, let me see if there's a longer. He's done a lot of smaller projects as a composer, and he has worked in the music departments on a lot of big projects. So, I don't know a lot about, what his work will be, so I'm curious, and that's exciting.
Um, oh, he scored The Shawshank Redemption in The Player.
Did he score it or did he work on it?
This says he scored it. And Road to
Oh,
Perdition.
hold on. I'm scrolling. Yeah, he's been. Oh no, he composed Wally.
Yeah.
His first credit on it says, in the way my IMDb is laying it out, says he worked in the music department, not that he was the composer. So great.
And Bridge of
Oh, 6 feet
Spies.
under. Oh, we're good. We're good. We're good. That had an excellent score. Okay,
Bridge
great.
of
Great.
Spies was so he's one of the few people that Spielberg has worked with that wasn't John Williams. So like,
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, real genius.
Seriously, Bridge of Spies is so good. If people haven't seen Bridge of Spies, it's so good. And his father was Alfred Newman,
Yeah,
like the guy who did the opening of the Fox fanfare,
yeah.
Alfred Newman. So like if that's not pedigree to do a Star Wars film, come
I
on.
know, right? Golden, golden, golden.
I mean the only other way he could be more qualified is either if he was uh you know a John Williams kid, but I mean that guy's a rocker, or like the kid like if his last name was like Korngold.
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong. Oop. Um. Anyway, Mandalorian and Grogu. I got to figure out when I'm going to go again. Soon.
I'm going tomorrow. I'm finally getting to take Anakin tomorrow. So he hasn't
Nice.
seen it yet.
Ah.
Yeah. He uh he was in Vegas all week for his birthday, so
Nice.
I'm excited to see how he reacts.
Nice.
He he's the world's biggest Rod of the Hutt fan.
I
Um
mean, I have a feeling that the Rada fan club is getting a lot bigger very quickly.
so like I mean his first Anakin's first midnight movie Star Wars um like experience was the Clone Wars movie.
Right.
That was the first one he got to go to, and he just really latched onto it. And Clone Wars was the thing that we did. And every time Disney and Lucasfilm, like during the Disney era, had announced a new film, it was like he felt disappointed that they never resolved the storyline with Rod of the Hutt. And every time they announced a new project, it was like, do you think they're going to resolve the Rod of the Hutt storyline? And I can't tell you how excited he was at the end of Mando season two, and they cut to Jabba's palace, and they cut to Bib Fortuna and Boba Fett coming in and killing him, and it's like, oh, holy crap! Do you think they're finally going to do the Rod of the Hutt stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. It feels like Rod of the Hutt would have been the one on the throne if they were going to deal with any of that. And he's like, oh man. So we watch Book of Boba Fett, and he's like, there's no Rod of the Hutt. They're never going to get to Rod of the Hutt. This is so disappointing. And as soon as
Patience, patience, Anakin.
yeah, and then as soon as they announced that Rod of the Hutt's going to be in Mando and Grogu, he's just like, "You've got to be kidding me! This is the best day of my life." Which is to say, like, he was. When did that come out? 2008. He was 5 when that came out, and he just turned
You
24.
shush. You shush. You
Um,
shush.
but no, like that gives you the span of like the kids who grew up with Clone Wars and
Yeah.
grew up with Rada and want to see that story paid off. And now Rada's been in 2 theatrical Star Wars movies, and I can't argue with the results.
Yeah. Terrific.
Yeah. No, and I mean Kingston, he's 10, and like literally, I mean, I don't know if you listened to last week's
I
spoiler
haven't
free.
yet.
All Kingston could talk about was Buff Stinky.
I mean, yeah.
And that's what he went to school telling kids about, was how
Uh,
great Buff Stinky was.
Buff Stinky's terrific.
Yeah.
We're all fans, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
So,
suspicious of anybody that's not.
yeah, very suspicious. It's a red flag. If you're not into Buff Stinky, that's his
Buff
style of
Stinky, by the way,
fighting.
would be a great band name.
It would. His style of fighting is so good. Like the way they actually have him using like his weight and like the drops on enemies
The
and
rolling like killed me.
yeah,
I was like, whoa. I I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I did not expect to be this Hut obsessed ever in my life. I love it. I'll talk about Huts forever.
yeah.
Buff Stinky. Let's do it.
Buff Stinky. Oh man. All right. Where can people find you, Holly?
Hopefully in a movie theater watching it again. But in the meantime, I'm also on Blue Sky as myself, Holly Frey, and on Instagram as SurlyGirly5. And I think those are the main ones. I am also, of course, always doing Stuff You Missed in History class, so you can listen to that. And new episodes of The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd are still airing on History Channel. New ones drop on Friday nights, and they show up in reruns all the time, so you can see me there if you wish. I'm probably forgetting something, but that's plenty. What about you?
You can find me at swankmatron.com. You can get signed books from me there. I don't know. You can find me across social media at swankmatron on social media, usually Blue Sky and Instagram. Holly and I are going to be at Indiana Comic Convention in just like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So you can spot us there, which will be fun.
Yes.
Um, and we'll be talking a lot about Star Wars.
Safe bet. Safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like if you catch us anywhere, that's usually a safe bet.
True. True.
Yeah. As far as Full of Sith goes, you can go to fullofsith.com and download the entire back catalog of episodes and listen to us wherever it is you listen to the show and rate and review it. And you can send us emails at holocron@fullofsith.com. We'd love to hear from you. And go see Mando and Grogu. Don't sit on the fence on this one. Don't wait it out. Just go see it. It's so good. It's so good.
So much fun. Just the most fun.
I will
The most fun.
maybe think about this and maybe next time you can come up with an answer.
Okay.
Why do you think that this one, the most fairy tale like of the stories, with the most fairy tale like sequence, didn't start with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
Well, didn't they say that those are
No, the opening crawl, because Rogue One and Solo started with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Solo did, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe you. I just don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is the first one that didn't.
I won't come up with a good reason. It is
Okay.
what it is.
Well,
You have to ask the grown-ups that one.
yeah. Well, okay, fine. Then unless there's anything else.
No,
Um,
I'm good. I'm excited that we have new Star Wars in theaters.
yeah.
And that, we're in the corridor of fun now. Between now and the next year, it's just so much fun Star Wars coming.
It's true. It's true. So for super producer Mike Pilot, for Holly Fry, I'm Bryan Young, and the Force will be with you always.
Sir, if you'll not be meeting me, I'll close down for a while.